So hey everyone, and in this video we are going to learn about REPL in Node.js. Okay, so what you can do is first of all go here and go to terminal, and you can see that we created a folder named as Node.js previously, and this is actually the folder. Here we'll be writing our projects and codes, and don't take it as any specific Node.js folder. It's just a random folder. You can give any other name also. Okay, so right now here we have this folder, and you can see same folder is listed here. So always keep an eye on this path, okay, wherever you are working on. So I know that this path is correct. I always want to, right now I want to work on this specific folder, so I'm in this path. Okay, so now let's understand what is REPL. So REPL simply means read, eval, print, loop. So it's an interactive environment that allows you to enter JavaScript code and see results immediately into your terminal. So it's very easy to use. You just need to write node here. You just need to write node here. First of all, you need to check that Node.js is installed or not. So you can see, I can see the version in previous video of the introduction. We actually performed the installation also, so you can check that video. So now if I type node, you can see we have some interface like this. Okay, so here you can perform different operations, like for example, if I write 1 plus 2, you can see that I got 3. If I write 1 minus 2, 1 minus 2, you can say I get minus 1. So you can perform any addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, all the JavaScript concepts you can apply here, whatever JavaScript concepts you know. For example, if I write where a equals 1, and I'll just say where b equals 2. Now if I say a plus b equals what, 3, so you can see that it's working perfectly. Now similar to this, you can actually use different things. For example, I want to write if else statement, so I can simply say if a is suppose greater than b, then I can just pass my brackets. Then you can see automatically I got these 3 dots. That means the things are working perfectly. So console log, and I can say, for example, a is bigger. Okay, and now if I close this, you can close it like this. Actually, you can hit to the next line, then you can close it. After this, you don't need to press enter if you want to pass your if else condition completed. That is, if you pass after this, we have else if, we also have else condition. Whatever you want to pass, you have to pass after this. Okay, so I just directly want to pass else if, and here I can say a is equals to b. Then what I want is, I want to print console dot log a equals b. Okay, and similarly I can just close this. Now again I can say else, and you can print console log a is smaller. Okay, so you can see that we have written like this, and after this you can close this. If you hit enter, you can see a smaller. Okay, so that's totally up to you, and you can write JavaScript code here like this. Similar to this, guys, we have one more thing, that is you can write loops also like this. So like whatever you have in JavaScript, whatever code you have learned in JavaScript, you can write all the code here. So guys, now let's talk about how to create a function. So suppose we have a variable where x equals 10, and I say that we have a function. So function, and let's name the function as add. Inside this, I'm gonna pass my parameter, suppose a and b. Suppose I'm gonna give these parameter as 2 values. Actually, now after this, I can just say in the next line, or just return what? Return a plus b. Okay, suppose I want to return this, then I can actually close it like this. So you can see that the function has been created. Now let me just say, okay, I have to actually define one more variable, y equals 20, suppose. Now if I hit this, you can see I've defined two variables, x and y. Now suppose I call this function, so I'll just say where res equals, then I call the add function with x comma y variable. So if I now print console dot log, and then I see what is the value of my res, so you can see I got 30 because it works like same JavaScript. Okay guys, so now similarly we have loops. So for the loops, you can pick any loop. The concept is same, but let's start with the for loop. So you can apply the same logic for other loops also. I hope you know basics of JavaScript. We have loops inside this. So if I say let I equals 0 and I less than 5 and I plus plus same as JavaScript, and then if I hit enter, you can see console dot log. I want to print the value of I. Then if I hit enter, I can actually close this. So you can see that's how the loops work. And similar to this, we have while loop and do while loop. You can apply the same approach. Okay guys, so I hope you got a very basic overview how actually REPL works. It would actually allow you to run JavaScript in your terminal. So there might be some cases where you just want to write some JavaScript code and check some cases. So you can actually do it in terminal. But I think if you want to write JavaScript, you can write it in the browser's console part itself. You don't need to write it like this. But if you are someone who don't want to use the browser, you can actually directly use the terminal. Okay. But people who know HTML, CSS, JavaScript, they know that we can actually write JavaScript code in the terminal's console part also. So you can either follow that or you can follow that. But instead of this, we would be creating some files in Node.js and we would be writing the JavaScript code and we would be executing that. That's also a very great method. And that's the method which is actually always followed in Node.js. Okay, but this is just for testing. If you want to just test for something, you can actually follow this method. Okay, so that's what is REPL. Now guys, we are going to talk about modules in Node.js. Okay, so today we are going to just talk about the file module, that is FS module. So FS module, known as file system module in Node.js, it's an inbuilt module, like you don't need to install it separately. It's available in Node.js. So it provides various methods for working with the file system. That is, you are going to create, update, delete, or write a file. Okay, read, update, delete, and write a file. So you would be going to perform four operations. That is CRUD, create a file, read a file, update a file, delete a file. Okay, these are four main operations which you always follow in any kind of thing. Like if you want to learn anything in any specific skill, just mark a rule, just make a rule that I want to learn these four operations in anything. Okay, if I'm talking about development field, create, read, update, delete. That's what the main focus is on. Either you are creating something, either you are reading that thing, either you are updating that thing, either you are deleting that thing. Okay, these are four main operations. Okay, so now first of all, let's talk about FS modules functionalities which we have here. Okay, so we actually have different methods inside this. So first of all, I need to import FS module. Okay, so for that, first of all, you need to create a file here. Okay, let me just close this, and now I'm going to create a file here. Okay, so if you want to create a file, guys, one more thing, actually I forgot to tell you one more thing. Suppose if you are here and you want to just go out of this, so how you can actually go out of this, you can simply press Ctrl D. Okay, so if you write node and you are here, if you press Ctrl D, you can see now I am out of this. Okay, so if you want to just escape from here, you can press Ctrl D, so you would just escape from here. Okay, so now let's continue. So here guys, let's talk about the FS module, and here we have to simply create like you can create any file. So I'm just gonna name it as index.js. Okay, suppose my file name is index.js. Later on we are gonna run this file. Okay, so right now you can see that it does not have anything. So if I just say, we have to first of all use FS module, so we have to import it. So whatever module you want to import, you'll be importing it like this. Okay, so const, then the module name, so FS equals, then you need to use the require method. Okay, so require method, so it's actually require, and guys, inside this you just need to provide whatever module you want to use. So I want to use this module, so I would be writing require FS and it would be stored inside this. Okay, so now suppose I want to use this. Okay, so first of all you would be creating a file. That means you would be writing something inside that file. Okay, so right now you can see we don't have any file. Okay, so I'm going to create a file, so I would just say fs.write. So we have a lot here. You can see I got some suggestions. So we have two methods. Either you would be using write file or you would be writing file synchronously. Okay, so this is by default asynchronous. If you say write file synchronous, then this method become synchronous. Okay, so I'll tell you the difference, but right now let's say we are going to write it asynchronously. Okay, so actually I'm sorry, you need to write fs dot write file. Okay, now inside this I'm going to name my file, so I'm just gonna say new file dot txt. Suppose this is my file name. Right now you can see that it does not exist, so this is my file name. If it already exists, then we would be writing inside that, or else a new file would be created. Okay, so I'll just say hello world. Okay, so I would just simply say this. After this I want to just specify what kind of data I am passing. So I'm just passing UTF-8 format data. Okay, so you need to write UTF-8 because this format, this is format of UTF-8. That means computer would recognize this as UTF-8. Okay, so now you just wrote UTF-8, then you're just going to say ERR if there is any error, or if there is not any error, whatever comes, then you're just going to say that if there is an error. Okay, if there is an error, so you can just print the error, else you can say file created. Okay, file created and written successfully. Write simply means, suppose for example I run this now. Okay, I have to run this. So if I go to terminal and new terminal, and here if I write node, and then you need to write the file name, so index.js. Okay, index.js. So you can see file created and written successfully. So here you can see file created and written successfully. So what is this actually? So you didn't had a file. If you already had a file named as new file.txt, suppose now I already have the file, so now I write something else. Okay, so if I write something like this, now what would happen? Will this data be kept or delete? So when I am talking about write method, whatever method, whenever you are talking about write method, you are going to delete this and add whatever string you are passing here. Okay, so that's what happens in write. So for example, now if I try to run this again, so you would actually see that we have this. Okay, so you can see that old data is actually gone and we have written over the previous existing data. That means old data would be gone, new data would be written. Okay, it's like this. So this is write method.